I think we're live. I think we're live right now. Hi, Kataro. I think we're live.
Oh yeah, hey, we are live. It looks like we are live.
We are. If I pulled
Let's
up this
see.
other computer and got things ready appropriately.
Let's see. Hold on, just give me one more thing to
Oh, that's
check.
totally fine. We're just doing stuff live. We're doing it live
Doing it
and we're
live.
doing it live.
We're doing it live. I think we
We're
have
doing
two
it super
viewers.
live. That's all right.
Armand is here. Grimace said he was going to be an hour late, so I don't know if I'm going to
Okay,
be able.
first off, have you seen what Grimace has been doing to that scoreboard?
Yeah, I know, right?
Have you been seeing what
Ko-
you've been doing to that scoreboard? I didn't want to
Kowalski is
fill your
here,
head up or anything.
dude.
Let's.
I'm dropping out early because of the my service pack 2 is coming up Friday, so I'm gonna rest tomorrow. Make sure I can handle the 5G upgrade.
5G service pack 2. Did you tweet it
Yeah.
out? I probably need to tweet, huh?
I can do that on the thing. Hold on. Just give me a
It's
sec.
cool if you're running an hour late. Don't worry, you can just watch the rerun, Grimace. You won't miss much, I'm sure. That way you can fast forward through the annoying parts. Oh
All
goodness.
right. Cool. What's up, Armand?
Armand, thank you.
Hey, man. Congratulations on finding all your foxes. That is fucking insane.
Oh, really? You finished your
Yeah.
foxes already?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Armand.
And he had a pretty big grid too. 58 kilometers,
I saw
55.
Wiggle tweet that's like, should we add more foxes? And I'm like at 6% right now, so no, don't. But then,
Well,
if he's already done, might as well add more, I guess, right?
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Add more foxes?
I don't know. Uh, Look, it's 7 o'clock. I just finished walking for 5 kilometers this morning. My brain isn't like running at full 100%. Not that it is ever running at full 100%, but it's even less than what it usually is. So, I'm gonna have to start doping up. So
Come on, Rebel. Let's get us some yummy Red Bull sponsorship.
I like more foxes, but it's fun either way. DNS Princess, what's up, DNS Princess?
Yeah, DNS Princess, you're killing it. I've been seeing you running around doing some madness.
Rumor
Nice
is
work.
DNS Princess's truck is finally out of the shop, and she is gonna
Oh,
come hard with that.
that's freaking awesome.
Well,
That that
let's
hurts that
do
your truck was in the shop.
right.
I'm
Let's do
glad
some
you got
basic
it.
catching up first. All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
So
I'm still
I
trying to
don't know if you
figure out how to use the app.
I don't know if you can see this, but I'm wearing my old Santa Cruz cap.
Ooh.
I'm celebrating skateboarding being in the Olympics.
Ooh. Which is super
So
dope.
yeah, it was fun watching it. It was kind of cool. Um, it was kind of unique in a way that, especially in Japan, Olympians are often treated as like, they have to be straight up role models, black hair.
Right.
And here at skateboarding, they're all kind of like goofy, all kind of color their hairs and stuff, and it was kind of neat. And the atmosphere, especially the women's skateboarding, the atmosphere was super awesome. It was very supportive. Like if somebody landed a big trick, like all the people were like, "Yeah, that is awesome," which is very unlikely. You don't see that in gymnastics. If somebody pulls a big trick, they go like, "Oh, well, shit, there goes my scoring," right? But like in skateboarding, it was like this super cooperative environment. Same for BMX. I think it's the nature of like these urban street sports, because when you and I used to skateboard a lot too. Um, those urban sports, it's almost like Wiggle too, right? There's some kind of camaraderie there that's competitive, but it's not like toxic competitive,
Hmm.
right? I mean,
Right. It's like we want to see what you've built. We want to see what you've done, and then it's like I remember too because I skated as a kid too, and it's like
yeah,
my buddy he learned how to kickflip before me, and I was like
right.
thrilled to death just to watch someone do a kickflip. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
what? That's crazy! I can't believe you can do that. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
right, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. I totally feel that for sure.
right. So it was kind of cool. It was neat. It was kind of different.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I've been working on. I had to rebuild my rig a little bit, get ready for this war drive thing. I cut the tip of my finger off, recovered. It's fine now. It's just like
Oh
it's
man,
right there.
that is
But
a very
uh,
inconvenient place for cutting yourself.
well, so I ended up having to make this plastic cap for it because every time I hit it on something, it would hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oops. But and then I couldn't type with it, so because it would just every time I hit the key, I'd be like, ah, man. So I ended up making this thermal plastic cap on top of it, so I looked like some Bond villain for a while.
I love it. That's awesome.
But so what's what have you been up to? It's been two
So,
weeks, I think, right?
yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It's there's been a lot going on. So, been doing some artisan Wi-Fi network hunting.
Uh,
Back up in Montana and Idaho. Did that for a few days, and then uh, just been working away, getting stuff ready for the Black Hats and the DEF CON. So, um, yeah, and trying to get ready for this worldwide war driving competition.
what do you mean getting ready? You're not even like top 10.
Listen, I'm on the board, all right, and I got some foxes.
I hate to tell you this, but that leaderboard is all the participants. It's not like the top 61 because that'd be kind of weird.
Oh,
Cool.
jeez.
Oh, how is Vegas? Is Vegas as bad as everybody says it is? Like no masks, people yelling at each other for wearing masks, or
No, so far, like I've been. So this morning I went out on a war run, and I'm staying at Mandalay right now. I left Mandalay, ran all the way down to the Bellagio, and on the Strip, and then went on a bunch of the service side roads and stuff, exploring, trying to get those extra foxes out there, because that may or may not be my wiggle area that I chose for the competition. And I would say like a vast majority of the people that even on the strip are have masks on. There's only been one time that I've seen a more than like even in a group like maybe there's one person that has their mask just down below their nose, like that's it, and the rest of them are all maxed up. There was one time today so far I was getting on an elevator and there was a whole group of gentlemen looking like they were there to have their fun time in Vegas. Uh, very stereotypical Vegas dudes, or dudes come to Vegas. None of them had masks on, and so I opted to choose a different elevator because those guys aren't just going home with COVID; they'll probably go home with other stuff too. So
yeah, right.
they wasn't planning on being safe at all, like regardless of like
COVID is going to be the last of the few things they will catch. Something else that will catch even more.
right. So yeah, I was definitely not down with the bros, so definitely skipped on that elevator. They're like, "You coming?" I'm like, waved them off. You guys go. I'm cool. I'll take the next. So it's actually pretty surprising how many people have had masks. I haven't had any. I haven't had any mass confrontation stuff yet. Haven't seen any of that.
Cool.
Um, so,
Stay safe.
but I mean, ultimately, my um, visual survey has just been on the strip itself and through the Mandalay Hotel. So I don't know what it looks like at other places.
Well, I mean, you have to admit though, and the Mandalay is kind of off the strip, off. I mean, it's
Right.
not
Well,
like
it's at the far end, so
Paris,
for sure, it's not like you're not congregating there. Like if
right?
like so yeah, I'm definitely gonna. My plan is tonight. I'm gonna go war walk the Miracle Mile, which is that mall by Planet
Mm,
Hollywood. I'm gonna go war walk that and see if I can get some more foxes over there. So do that tonight. I already this morning I did a 10K, just a little bit more than a 10K. And it was fun. Should we have story time?
sure.
So you know, it's not very much fun to just war walk and then follow the main routes because you're not gonna pick up a lot of new stuff that way, right? Because
Right.
it's already been done. So there's a lot of side streets around Vegas, side streets and little service accesses and stuff. And so I started just meandering my way around because I knew I wanted to get from the Las Vegas Boulevard to, I think it's Frank Sinatra is the name of the street. So I just kept going around and finding little roads back and forth. So I stumbled across a fire station. It's like, it seems pretty new, by the Aria. It's like underneath the monorail and kind of like hidden, backed away. There's just a fire station back there. So that was pretty cool to stumble across that. Um, and then went into a part where the sidewalk just end and it's like pedestrian access go this way and I went this way. It was on the road and it turns out like Vegas has done a lot of work to keep pedestrians like away from like the back areas and stuff. So I'm just running and the next thing I know I'm running past a guard shack and just running like I don't know if I'm not supposed to be here or not. Let's see if I get in trouble, but got to get those wiggle points, man.
Well,
But
yeah. I mean,
don't go in places you're not supposed to. So don't
no,
break
do go
laws.
places you're not supposed to.
Well, I figured like worst case scenario, I'll just be like, oh, I'm just jogging and I got turned around. Like, where can you know, how do I get back to my
Dude, this
hotel
is
room?
this is the perfect time where you. I don't want to call it, but you should use your skin color privilege because you'd be like, no, I'm supposed to be here. God damn it. I just wanted to shout out for everybody. It's good seeing Pete, Lockpicking Pete in the chat. Armand is here. Tully is here.
Dude, I don't even
Poop
have
My
the chat up,
Pants
so thank you for
is
doing
here.
that.
DNS Princess is here. All the Kobeshki is here. Kobeshki wants to know if you're actually going to use the Kraken to War Drive Vegas.
Yeah, so that's what I did last night. As soon as I got down here, I drove around for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I went over by so there's the new football stadium, the Allegiant Los Angeles Raiders football, or the Las Vegas Raiders stadium. So I went over there because I hadn't been over there and I figured that would be juicy with a bunch of Wi-Fis. So cruised around over there. And yeah, I haven't pulled the date off yet, but I will tell you this: I did discover in my stumblings last night, my Samsung S21 sucks at grabbing networks. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I need to look at settings or something. But so it caught during that war drive 1,800 networks, which is just pitiful. And then I have my Samsung S7. That one caught 4,000 something on networks, and then my Realme 8 Plus caught 3,200. So it was like and my Samsung was in my center console, and then the other two phones I had on my dash. So that may have some things to do with it, but it was quite drastic. And then two, as I've been running around war running this afternoon, my S21 only caught up a fraction of what the Realme picked up while I was war running. So yeah, it's really fascinating to see.
Maybe you should take it out of the Faraday bag.
Yeah, maybe I should. But they told me to bring my devices in Faraday cages or they would get hacked because it's Vegas and hackers are here.
Right. Yeah, better than no 9 pixels. Yeah. Oh, cool. DNA Princess says she picked up her RCA Reno. I don't know. That's a phone, I guess, for $50, and it captures better than a Note 9 or Pixel 2a.
Oh.
Cool.
Oh.
So DNS Princess asked me if we were going to talk about the RFCTF and the Worldwide War Drive contest today, and I said no because I wanted to focus on telling people how to accept Jesus in their lives to survive this life. So...
Did you see that picture where the Grimace sent, by the way?
Yeah. Grimace is running an hour late or something. So it's just like, Mr. Bill is too busy packing and getting to do any real war driving. So it is your shit
and
show,
side note, like, because I had an unexpected delay in Salt Lake City, and that was kind of my fault, mostly my fault, entirely my fault. Fine, entirely my fault. And so then I was like, well, I'll just pick out an area by the airport and see if I can start grabbing some foxes so I can get some points with a different Wiggle account. Literally, like 5 minutes later, I get the councils of Rick texting me, being like, "Are you cheating?" And I'm like, "Well, by creating two accounts." Yeah. So, because I had the Kraken there, the Kraken Light, and I was walking around the Salt Lake City airport. Had about 8 hours of delay, so I figured I would make good on that time. But then, luckily, I was able to take a flight to a little city that's not too far away. And then my mom came and picked me up. Love you, mom. Thanks, mom.
Oh,
Mom came pick
thanks,
me up and gave
mom.
me a ride. So
Thanks, mom. Yeah, so Aramon is asking, is that why there are two dark matters on the board? Yes, they're both
yeah,
real,
it's
and they're both insignificant compared to the rest
they're both
of contestants.
insignificant. Yeah, I'm just padding the scoreboard.
You're just adding more players to the list.
Well, but here's the thing, though. It's like if you do add multiple players, like it's just making your work harder because because you have two areas, you just have more kilometers you have to cover. So, and I figured since I was stranded, like I might as well see what I could do in the Salt Lake City airport.
Aramon is like, so we beat him twice.
Damn straight.
Brutal. So yeah, I've been war walking because that's what I do. And I'm as of now I'm second to Grimace. So, but I think that score will drop once I stop because of the service pack. But my legs are pretty beat up as of now. I calculated the distances I war walked in the last 2.5 days, and it's about 50 kilometers.
50K? Holy shit, yeah. Dude, that's a lot.
Turns out, here's the funny thing though. Turns out 50K spread over 2.5 days is as tiring as 50K in one day. So I'm like, all right, well, 100K I think is actually doable now. Because I was like, I'm as tired as I am right now as I was when I did that 50K war walk last year.
Yeah.
The difference why it's split over 2.5 days because there's a fucking life-threatening heat wave and I can't walk during the day. It's just dangerous.
Too much, yeah.
Right. I like war walking. I'm just not literally, want to risk my life for it. And the second thing is, I'm doing it in sandals. And this is on purpose.
That's next level.
Right?
What is that purpose again?
I like suffering.
Mr. I need to remove every gram that I can.
Yes, so
as long as your feet are suffering, it's fine, but your back, no?
Now here's the funny thing though. My feet are suffering as bad as I was wearing shoes, but my lower back and my back are not suffering at all. It's like all the pain is, and it's mainly because I ended up with 2 blisters in the middle of my feet because I switched to 0-drop sandals from the Hokas. So it's there's this much padding to this.
Right.
Right. So
yeah, the entire profile is radically different.
So the first, and I've been wearing the sandals for a couple for about a week and a half before this, and the first couple of days I'm just kind of flopping because I needed to readjust my footings because it's so different. And but so I've been walking 50Ks in these 0-drop Vibram sandals, Lunasol sandals. And as far as sandals go, the funny thing is my speed is I'm faster in them.
You are?
Yeah, by 25%. My speed walking in this, my speed of walking in these sandals are faster than when I'm wearing shoes by about 25%. My legs are tired, but they recuperate much better. The only thing is that middle blister that I ended up because of the new shoe. And it's the first 20 minutes walking on that blister is oh, that hurts. And I'm oh, I'm like a drunk grandpa who can't walk or something. And then 20 minutes in, and it's not even the blister is hurting, it's my mind. My mind is going, this is stupid. Stop. So for the first 20 minutes of every day, every night, every walk I've been doing, it's me fighting my mind going, my mind is going, stop. This is stupid. This is pain. And then like 20 minutes in, I just kind of like, my mind just gives up. Like, fine. You want to do this? We'll deal with it. And the pain goes away. The problem is I come home and I sit down. I can't get up. I'm like, flailing all over my face. I'm like, I'm curling my toes up. I like walking on the edges of my feet. Just like,
oh my gosh.
But
man, that is some torture.
But I feel fine. I mean, it's purely my legs, and my legs are. The pain in my legs is not because something is wrong. It's pure fatigue, right?
Right. You just get so exhausted.
Yeah, my legs are like, ugh.
There's no more gas. Yep.
Yeah. But other than that, it's fine. I'm learning a lot though. But I'm having a good time. The funny thing is though, like, you know, my feet itself are not as hurting as I was when I wore shoes. Because like when I do like long, like 12, 13 kilometer war walks, at the end my feet are so swollen and my shoes are kind of like not fitting right. So when I take them off, they're hurting.
Right.
But like now they're like, because they're sandals, they kind of grow with sandals, and the sandals just kind of because the sandals are barely the size of my feet.
Yeah.
So
that'll be interesting.
Bicycle next. No, I am determined to war walk this thing. Because there are times I'm like, I could just ride the bus. You know, I could just take the bus back and forth, and I'll just catch all the points. And I'm like, but that's not me. I'm the war walker. I'm the guy who does ridiculous war walks. So I was suffering. And then they're like, this morning it's like, oh fuck yeah, I forgot we're doing this at 7. Well, all right. So I got up at 4 this morning.
Oh, man.
I walked. And then I came here. I'm like, why did I agree? Why did I agree to this at 7?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
It's fine.
I appreciate you. I do.
So no, I think this year's competition is even fiercer than last year, because last year a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what.
Right. Oh, for sure. Like, right. I pulled up the leaderboard yesterday, and there's like 6 people above 50,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
But I think this year a lot of people were more careful in selecting the quadrant. Like I know I was. And I know DNS Princess was.
Ooh, and I was too. I went through and I looked at, and then what's crazy is after I selected it and I fell asleep last night, I had a new idea of what I should have done. I don't even know if it's possible, but what I should have done is a really thin one that's the length of the strip, but really long all the way both ways.
See, the thing is, with the quadrant, you can't adjust the angle for it.
Right, it's a square. It stays square.
It's a square.
That's what I thought. Okay,
north.
so my little rectangle idea.
So because if that was the case, then I would have totally drawn like a narrow rectangle in the areas that were easy for me.
Yeah.
But because I'm having to select, and it's fine. I think that
it seems that Arc already thought of my stupid human tricks and then prevented that.
Because if there was like and it's also, I think the surface calculation is going to get more complex the moment you start allowing angles and different things. And I think it's just keep it simple. And I went to new places that I haven't been, you know, even in the quadrant that I drew. And right, so
I finally got the chat up.
All right, cool. Yeah, Mr. Bill says Cat Sniffer from Electronic Cats will be at DEF CON. Yes, go check them out. They're an awesome team of hardware guys.
Oh, sweet.
People.
Cool, yeah, definitely want to check that out.
What made you pick your quads? Asking everybody.
Yeah, Katara, let's hear you, and then I'll give my justification.
All right, well, so I knew that the Foxes were going to be based on previously seen Wi-Fi spots, because that's always been the case.
Yep.
this time what I did is I looked at the schedule, and I determined that I couldn't do a large area, also because that COVID restrictions, and the Olympics, security is everywhere, and they're a little bit more. So I picked a narrower area, but I picked a narrow area that I usually war walk, but I already had war walk pretty extensively.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew the roads. I didn't have to remap most of it. I knew that, like, okay, this is where I'm gonna go. This is where and I also looked up on density. So I wanted to avoid I wanted to avoid having mega clusters in my quad.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have mega clusters, picking up a fox in a mega cluster is harder.
Right.
Right. So I picked a quad that was crowded enough to have a decent amount of foxes, and I didn't want it to be too far from where I either lived or this bat cave.
Right.
Because because of the heat, if I felt bad, I wanted an emergency out. Because of COVID, ambulances are scarce right now. So I'm like, if shit hits the fan, I need to be in a distance I can get either home or to the bat cave, right? So
I like it. That's genius. I picked my quad, so I knew I was gonna be in Mandalay and I was gonna be spending a bunch of time here. And also, I was looking, and there's a lot of warehouses and a lot of like industrial stuff. And so I figured on this end of town over by the new football stadium. So I extended my quad out that way, and so I figured if I'm over there, I'm not going to have as much traffic, especially outside of 9 to 5. So that way I can, because mostly I'm going to be able to war drive today, tomorrow, at night, because I got stuff going on in the day, and so I wanted to be as effective because traffic here can just be a nightmare. You know, like sit at a
right,
light for 20 minutes, plus there's construction. So I figured that was a good idea to do that. And so last night when I was war driving, I covered quite a bit of ground in the couple hours that I was doing it last night. Um, and then the other thing too is I wanted to make sure that I could. Oh, my light just went off. That I would be able to. Oh, it's because the battery on my laptop's going dead. I wanted to make sure that I had enough coverage to where it would also extend into DEF CON when I went over to the other hotel. So, and at first I was like, oh, I'll include the airport because maybe I'll go out to the airport and be able to get some stuff around there. But then I was a little concerned because that's just a huge area that's like relative to the number of Wi-Fi things that are out there, plus the number of access points that have been picked up from mobile hotspots and stuff out there is quite a bit. And so I just assumed that the airport was going to be a bad one because it's going to be a hard Fox decision location. I'm not sure the Fox picking logic, but I can just envision that it's struggling with
yeah, and
that type of a scenario.
if you look
So
at the war driving leaderboard, you can see everybody's. And I think this is a great upgrade from last year. The square kilometers claimed, and starting quad number of Wi-Fi's in that quad. Like Grimace picked a large area with low starting Wi-Fi in the quad. I think Spike Roche too. Spike Roche, picked another small ones, and then there are people like Airmon, myself, Arsakai, who picked up or developing Chase, who picked a smaller quadrant but with more starting Wi-Fi is found, which is a catch-22 because your new Wi-Fi ratio will be lower, but at the same time, you have a lot more actual new Wi-Fi is possible to catch, right? So,
right.
Tully has a question for you. Dark Matter, what would you say was the biggest hurdle when building the Kraken Light?
Definitely the PCI Express, fighting with PCI Express, and in Linux. So, and the Intel drivers. So the Intel
Yeah.
drivers for the wireless adapters, they're closed source. They just provide the microcode for the drivers that are precompiled binaries, um, and there isn't anything like. I guess someone smart enough could reverse engineer them and like debug it and stuff. But if you run into problems, it's basically like sit and wait while you pray and hope that Intel decides to fix it or not. So that's definitely one of the biggest downfalls of these um, IWL, Wi-Fi drivers from Intel. Um, but beyond that, like uh, uh, things have been pretty smooth because essentially this is just a revision on a retake on the same
One
idea,
trick pony.
one trick pony in it. So all the
Same
other
idea
pieces
over and over again.
the other thing that's been really hard too actually is the LoRaWAN stuff. um, Learning about that protocol because it's like I'm so used to Wi-Fi and knowing what Wi-Fi does, learning about how LoRaWAN works, and finding out it's kind of like UDP in a sense that the gate, except for opposite, the gateway doesn't like broadcast. It doesn't say, "Hey, I'm a gateway, connect to me." It's more like the sensor sends out the information and it's sensor information. And if a gateway hears it and it has like the negotiation stuff, it accepts the data and pushes it on its way. Otherwise, it just goes unseen. So I was out war driving for gateways and sat in front of where I thought there was a gateway for a good probably 45 minutes and never saw anything. And it's probably because there's no sensors attached to the gateway, so the gateway never talked. So, and I don't have my hands on a gateway. I've got a couple ordered, and so it's just been hard to kind of sit on the sidelines and then pick that stuff up. Although today was able to down in the Black Hat Knock, one of the guys there had a some 433 433 900 megahertz LoRa mesh nodes that just intercommunicate. They just bounce messages back and forth. So we fired them up, and sure enough, I caught them on GQRX, and then I was able to pull the info into GNU Radio Companion. So I was like, I felt pretty stoked about that. So, but still learning on that. It's definitely new to me, right. But I'm definitely digging in, and but yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of questions coming in for the Kraken Light, but I guess as of now, I think we should just wait for the video to drop, right?
Yeah, so there's going to be the Black Hat. Anyone that's doing the virtual Black Hat, there's going to be the virtual demonstration tomorrow and Thursday, I think. And then I'll be presenting in person. So if anybody's in Vegas, I'll be here presenting in person. And then I'm doing the virtual for DEF CON. I still need to figure out what that is. And then that one will be just available in the Discord. And I'm going to post some information in the forums too. And so I get all that in the DEF CON forum. And then I'm also in person at DEF CON as well. So if you're coming to any of those events, I'm trying to make sure that everybody can get access to all the info, and so I can, share this project with everybody. So,
cool. Yeah. And which, talking about sharing, I think, and I'm suspecting, there's a lot of people on the worldwide war driving board that haven't submitted yet, and I think the strategy is to drop it at the end, because and I think
wasn't that a Grimace strategy?
No, Grimace has been
last year.
Oh, last year, right? Yeah. I don't know, but too bad he's not here. He's an hour late. Shit talk about Grimace until he shows up. No, man, I think Grimace is awesome.
We ought to see if we can get like a few people out of the top 10 on the show next week or the week after when everybody's recovered.
Yeah, after everybody's recovered, I think
that would be fun.
That might be fun. Yeah, that might be fun. But yeah, I mean, and I think that actually is. I don't know the right English word for this. It's not as offensive as lame, but it is pretty close to it. Because here's the thing. Here's my thought about this. Right?
Yeah.
There is absolutely no prize money to be won here.
This is not, there?
Not for just the war walking, or war driving thing. I keep saying it war walking because that's what I do. But war driving thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be part of the overall RFCTF, and there might be prizes there, right? If you just focus on the war driving portion, it is literally what Mr. Bill just said, internet points, and you get to brag about it for a year, right? Next year, there's going to be somebody else who's going to drop it, right? What I do like about some of the early people that I noticed uploading and clearing some of the data, like R. Sakai, Grimace, Armand, and some of the other players, is that it gives me a sense of sharing and communities. Like, look, this is what I did. See, let me see what you can do, right?
Right. But then for me, it's like just seeing what spaces, how big of space people have picked, how many radio like it takes away all my argument of like, Guitaro, you're in Tokyo. You know
Yeah,
what I
right.
mean? It definitely levels the playing field, and so it's they've done a great job. I love it. So
Yeah,
shout out to
and
Wiggle for sure.
right, and like, it's like,
Well, and it's pushing me too because it's like I'm like, okay, how do I fit in more time? Like I purposely ordered stuff to Amazon lockers that are nearby that I can like, oh, I gotta go run down to the Amazon locker so I can go pick up the stuff, but I'm gonna wiggle my way down there. So
yeah, and I think Armand has a good point in the chat, saying other people on the board motivate to drive further and wiggle more, and I think that's the whole point. Is like, it's like, yes, are we competing? Yes, but at the same time, we're also sharing, right?
mm-hmm.
So I think I understand. I understand dropping the biggest dump at the end. The problem with that is there's gonna be a lot of people doing that. So your queue, you might be in the queue, you might not make it, for the queue.
Ooh, that's a
So
good question for the team. If it ends in the queue before the final timestamp, will it be processed or does it have to be processed before the ending timestamp?
no, I think it will. I think they're counting the upload time, but like even that upload time though, if they're, I mean, we're lucky we only have like what 62 contestants this year,
Mm-hmm.
but we
So
already
far,
already had so far, but we already had like a state where there was a non-competing heavy wiggle user that dropped his month worth of data, or to the processor, and everybody else ended up in the queue,
right?
which is fine. I mean, whatnot, but and I think that's I like the camaraderie and the competitiveness of like being being clear about where we are as we go through this,
Right.
right? um
One thing I did notice.
Grimace heard you compliment and he says hi.
Hey, he made it, huh?
No, it's just DNS Princess was DNS Princess is proxying for Grimace.
Oh, nice. Thanks, DNS Princess. Um,
uh
One thing I've noticed too with my war walking and war running and war drive, not war driving so much, but when I was out on my war run, is my Realme 8, it loses fix all the time, and it seems like, and I've compared with my Samsung, a couple of my Samsungs. It seems that Wiggle, the app, is far more like dependent on GPS fix. So, like for example, if you're indoors and you can watch yourself on Google Maps and it's doing its thing and getting you kind of close, but if you don't have your GPS fix, you're not like you're still collecting, but you're seeing them, but you're not necessarily like putting them on the map. And so that's been something that I'm been running into a lot, especially because a lot of my area is indoors. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to affect my overall. I don't know.
uh, well, I mean, that's a top 10 contender issue, which you're not.
I appreciate your honesty.
Hey,
Look, I'm
man,
top 25, so suck it.
what are friends for, right? If I couldn't be honest with you, why not,
Oh man,
right?
that's it. I'm done. Rage quit. I'm
Boom.
taking my hat off.
Oh, oh. Hey, give me a phone to your mom so I can call her to pick you up again. Wait, no, wait. I do have her number. Hold on.
Well, this devolved quickly.
Yes, it did. Yeah, but there's a lot of good chats. I like. Yeah. Random handles trunk rig, which sounds awfully sexual, which it isn't. With a lot of antennas is awesome. I should go definitely check it out. DNS Princess. I pooped my pants. Says I had problems without service. Yeah, there's some phones don't work well without service, and I think it's because they do that. What do they call it? Assisted GPS,
Yeah.
where part it's not all satellite.
It's
It's
cell
like cell
tower,
phone.
cell
Yeah.
tower, and then and it's harder if so because my Realme 8 and my other Samsungs, they don't have service, but it's yeah, it sucks. And then I really think because so for example like Pokemon Go, it's more like liberal in your location, using your location like whatever Google's telling it, because it'll match like what Google Maps is saying. But it wasn't always that way. When I first started playing, you had to have a GPS fix. It wouldn't use your relative location. Because I may or may not have tried to generate a whole bunch of Wi-Fi hotspots to push my wireless location somewhere else, which worked, by the way, back in the day. Um, and so yeah, so I think that they're looking at the GPS, like the fix information. I would be really interested to see from an app side of like how they're making that delineation, because it's kind of frustrating to to not have a fix. And I get it. I get it. It's like it's because there's a building here and it's hard to know your location, and they're not going to be precise locations. So, and also that kind of lends me curiousness to how are the networks that are there? How did those get put in, right?
Right.
Because there's a lot. If you zoom in on Vegas on the Strip, there's a lot inside of those buildings.
But
So
there's also a lot of like portable Wi-Fi spots that travelers will drop and
sure.
get picked up, right? So
Right. I almost wish I had a drone. I wish Glitch Tech was around so I could attach one of my phones to his drone and just fly up and down the fly up and down the strip for an hour. I think that would be probably the most effective way to get this done.
or go to back to modus operandi is just hire a bunch of Uber drivers and have them
I
run
might have to. Maybe that way I could
around.
freaking break into the top 10 with that.
Right. So I think I poop my pants.com says I think you could use a fake GPS app. Well, all right. So
Yeah, but
uh,
the problem is
here,
I'm moving through the hotel. I'm not at a
right.
fixed point, so I get that, and I thought about that, especially with the Kraken, because the Kraken is 100% GPS. There's no relative. But when I've done that in a fixed location, I'll set the GPS, like at the Salt Lake City Airport, for example. That there was no way I was getting a GPS fix inside the building, but I knew exactly where the location was, and it didn't move from that location. So, um,
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we have to be careful. Like, there's the competition
right,
that we're working on, but all that data is gonna go back into Wiggle.
right,
So if you end up with like shitty poison data,
right.
it's like, okay, you won the competition, but now there's a bunch of data points that are worthless for a lot of people,
Right.
right? And there's like,
Yeah, and that's I'm of the same mindset too, because it's like I would rather have like that's why I use phones and not giant ass antennas. That's why I use small antennas. That's why I will go war running and go running on the streets rather than driving them in some cases. You know what I mean? So I can cover both sides of the street. Um, so yeah, I definitely like that thoroughness and that more accurate. So
yeah, I mean, over time, um, the data normalizes the more people war drive, says Mr. Bill. Yeah, no, true. Uh, but I defer to the Wiggle experts. No, yeah, I think you're right. Um, I mean, it's uh, you know, you're right. I mean, but at the same time, it's like it's like vendor T-shirts. I mean, there is a point where it's just kind of like trash. It's like after 5, it's like the likelihood of you wearing number 6 and 7 goes down significantly, right? Do any of us focus on Bluetooth? I don't,
I do.
but Mike Dark Matter does.
I do. I like to collect the Bluetooths.
The reason why there's Bluetooth on Wiggle is precisely because Dark Matter threw a fit about it. It's like, I'm Dark Matter, I want Bluetooth on Wiggle. And I think I put my pants. I think you should check out our last episode with one before that
with
Andy from Wiggle.
Andy from Wiggle.
Because we talk about the important whether or not Bluetooth is useful or not, and
yeah, it's definitely debatable. It's an interesting, like, I get the argument why Bluetooth's not usable or like not interesting, but also we're in a pandemic and more information's always better, and who knows what sort of research can come out of this, you know?
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. There are things that what the fuck?
Mr. Bill just brought up an interesting point. There might be a performance hit with having Bluetooth scanning too. I don't know how much of a performance hit, because like it's going to be a different radio, but that would be interesting to like dive into.
Well, there is a performance hit. Remember that, when Andy from Arcash from Wiggle was saying that it depends also on how fast you can write the data, right?
Right.
So turning it off would give you an advantage because you give that much IO for
back
writing,
to the system,
right, for writing Wi-Fi data. So
right, yeah.
So I think there's an argument to be made for both cases. I think if you purely focus on the war driving competition, then because it's not giving you any points for it,
right, there's nothing for Bluetooth right now,
right?
Yeah, so the incentive's
but if you
low.
if you look for your overall Wiggle standing, yes, right. So I think it's a catch-22 there.
Yeah, for sure.
We're coming up on the hour, I think. Other things we need to do. Shout out to RF Hackers and Wiggle.
Yeah, huge shout out to them.
For this.
And shout out for making Pen 2. Zero, you're amazing. Thanks for Pen 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure I shout out Pen 2 at least 10 times this year.
All right, you do owe him that.
I owe him because I totally forgot to say it during my demo 2 years ago.
Right. Storage Scaler is funded. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was freaking awesome. So thank you everyone who got involved. We had some big things move at the 11th hour, so that was freaking awesome. Now it's the time to make some t-shirts, make some stickers. So I'll be reaching out to anybody that supported that project. So huge thank you again. We're really excited, and we're really excited for what's going to come next too. So stay tuned for some yummy PCI Express 4.0 stuff that I'm about to get sent off to the fab in the next month or two. So
to all the competitors for the war driving competition, bring it. Let's have fun.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay super safe.
10, I'll be super happy.
If you're war driving, remember there's at every single intersection there could be a pedestrian that runs out in front of you. Always triple check.
Also, stay hydrated.
Stay super hydrated.
Eat. Because as Grimace was tweeting out earlier, oh yeah, I forgot how hard it was to get food around here. I'm like, dude, that's either dedication or insanity or both.
Go get some protein bars, bud.
Yeah. So always don't forget to eat. Stay hydrated. The other thing is, the giveaway, the R-Private giveaway. We haven't forgotten yet. We just haven't gotten around to it yet. We'll do this after the whole Vegas thing. In the meantime, you still have a chance to, I guess, enter, because I haven't called the deadline yet, and I'm probably not gonna call the deadline until it's super close to it. So I was like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I was like, oh shit,
I was gonna message you about that.
But I think we'll just wait for DEF CON to be over and everybody recuperate. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and check out our episodes on
previous
our YouTube
episodes.
previous channels on the YouTube episode. Mr. Bill says, "May the GPS stay sync and the wind be at your back."
Thanks,
Kovishkis
Mr.
goes,
Bill.
"May you capture all the electron waves." But yeah,
You
stay
too,
stay
you
safe,
too.
stay hydrated.
Have fun. Have fun with it. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be
have fun.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
Yes.
do it, have
Do
fun.
not consider. Look, do not consider this as like a life-changing. Like, you know, you're not gonna get rich off winning this contest. You know, you're not gonna be able to write books about it and live off being a speaker and doing the speaker circuit on just this one competition. So,
I don't know. Maybe they could make it work. Look what I've been able
Dude,
to do with less. I don't even have a top 10 finish on my record.
He's just trying us not to get to compete. That's not true. Hey, Lothering, I just wanted to give you a heads up. That helmet, hard hat, awesome work,
Legit.
man. I think that thing is fucking beautiful.
Agreed. Very nice.
Right. So, and anybody is like, look, here's the one. Here's my other. Okay, quick side chat.
Yep.
If somebody shares their rig, don't go, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that," right? Unless you know the person and you're ball busting, and both parties are in consent of ball busting, like me and Dark Matter. I will call him all the time for everything of that. If you don't know the person but you see their rig, you know, if you have nothing nice to say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, let's add some support to things.
Right? Be positive about somebody doing something cool, right?
Or I mean, maybe if you do have like a legitimate thing, like maybe side channel it, right?
Right. Or say, "Hey, look, I like this thing. How about," and make it like a possible suggestion, unlike like a shutdown. You should do that, right? It's like, "Hey, how about, right?" Which goes back to, you know, my thing is like, you know, go out and hack things and don't be a fucking critic.
Get your hands dirty. Build it yourself. Like, go do it, and then you'll understand. Like, you can't just armchair quarterback this. Like, you can't just make something. You have to have. There's give and take. Like, you have to have, you know, issues. You have to have problems. You have to have.
And here's my promise to all the rig builders. And I'm sure I can get backing from the RF Village on this. Once we all come back to a real in-person con, not a hybrid, just a pure in-person con, I will set up a session where everybody can bring their rigs and we can talk about it.
That would be dope. And I'm 100% in. I will help organize that with you. 1000%.
Right. Because I think if there's one thing that really gets my gripe is that when somebody puts something out there, and I get that a lot too, and I'm kind of okay with it because I'm an asshole. I don't care about your suggestions. I go do whatever the fuck I do.
Yeah.
But I know some rig builders, it is really, you know, they pour their heart and soul in it. They put it online, and somebody goes, "Well, blah blah blah."
Yep.
And I'm looking at this like, you're a fucking asshole because this guy, you didn't build it, right?
Right.
It's like, you're just looking at it going, right?
Why doesn't it do 4G?
Yeah, it's like,
why didn't you use SDR? Because I didn't want to spend 30 years of my life learning how to be a kernel driver developer.
Yeah. Well, you should have done this. You should have. Okay. There are a couple basic guidelines. Like if you're using RT88, I have no respect for you.
You're just asking to be trolled at this point.
But if you go out there and build something and you like it and you love it and you think it's cool, be proud of it. I have your back. We have your back.
Yeah, totally. We totally have your back.
Right? There's a lot of people who will have your back who will stay quiet. And don't listen to the fucking critics. Like, the best example is Siskel and Ebert. They are great critics, but the movie they made sucked ass. So just because you can criticize somebody does not mean that they can do the same thing.
Right.
So be proud.
Amen.
And to all the players, come at me, bro. Come at me.
I'm coming for you, Kentaro. Get your
Yeah,
shot
like
so I can catch up to you finally.
People are like, I'm coming for you. I'm coming, dude. I'm walking with a rig in my backpack. It's not a fucking big ass competition right there. It's like,
Dude, how do you even know people are coming for you other than the scoreboard? And because you're not on Twitter right now.
well, I'm taking a Twitter break.
Of
because I'm
course
like,
you are, but still, isn't that convenient?
No, it's.
I know you do it every
Fine.
year. I'm just teasing.
I'm gonna call your mom.
She was wondering
All
why
right.
you haven't called yet.
Yeah. Well, I've been kind of busy walking around. All right, that's it, folks. Next time, hey, are we gonna do another one like after Sunday after your time Sunday, DEFCON over? I thought there was an idea of doing it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure about the travel schedule.
Let's me and you talk in just a little bit and figure that out. But I'm super open to it. But we'll see how we can play this out.
All right. Well,
But
keep an eye
also, yeah, keep an eye on my Twitter, on Kentaro's Instagram.
Yes. All right. So here's one thing. I've been quiet on Twitter, and there's a couple of reasons for whatnot, but I've been pretty active on Instagram, so you can see me on Instagram. So
yeah, he's just trying to pump up his Instagram followers. I get it,
dude. I already have 10 times what you have, so I don't need to pump it up.
Well, then will you share? Yeah, stay tuned because we definitely have some things in the works for this week. So yeah, we'll definitely have it recorded. Well, if we can, we'll have stuff recorded and available over on Kentaro's channel. So, or wait, do we have our own? We have our own YouTube channel now, right?
Yes, we do. We have the Wireless Shit Show channel now.
Yeah. Let's get that up to 10,000. Go like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Ring the bell. Touch Kentaro's mustache. Oh, jeez. All right. Dude, I miss you. I really do. I've been lucky enough to be able to like hug a few people, and I'm so happy. And got hugs for you for days, buddy. I miss the shit out of you. I can't wait till we're together again.
What? I don't know.
That was hot. That was hot.
All right, everybody, stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe, everybody. If you're in Vegas, hit me up. I love your faces. This is going to be an awkward outro because I just moved the screen over the thing. All right, see you guys later. Peace.